Alright, time for the top 5 of my top 10 favorite movies of 2015. My top 10 favorite movies of 2015. We've come to the final 5. Yes, the big 5, which I'm pretty sure you guys probably know. If you've seen other lists and you've seen the movies of last year, then you guys know that this is going to be, what movies are going to be. But I wouldn't say you probably wouldn't know what would be where exactly, because there was one movie that I saw and I didn't have any expectations for, and then it immediately became I said to myself, this is going to be in my top 5 films. So let's get started with. Actually, as always, before I go any further, this is just my personal list. This is how I enjoyed these films, and if you think a movie should be on here, either it be higher or lower or not at all, that's totally fine. No ill will against you. I'm not saying these are the top 10 films and you should like them because I do. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that this is my personal opinion, and I'm always interested to hear what are your top 10 films of 2015. So, without further ado, let's get started with number 5, Kingsman: The Secret Service. Good lord, was this a great movie. Like, this came out of nowhere for me. I saw this with a same buddy of mine. We went to go see 2 movies the night. First was Project Almanac, which was a time travel film, which was, it was alright. Then, later that night, we ended up going to see Kingsman. And wow. Now, again, I didn't see Spectre. I was unable to see Spectre. I really wanted to, but I still have not seen Spectre. I am thinking about getting the DVD of it at this point. But anyway, god damn, it's going to be hard to beat Kingsman, because it takes all the, it makes it like it takes all the Roger Moore film ideas of how silly and goofy everything is, and even to a degree Sean Connery and even Pierce Brosnan era James Bond, and it takes all of that, and it turns it into just this wild, wacky, fun scene. I mean, hell, the church scene alone, with Colin Firth killing all the racist bastards in church, was like a scene that would be like, yeah, this movie is going to be in my top 10. But on a whole, it's a great film. The action is fluid. I'm really interested to see where they're going to go with a sequel to this, because wow, that's the other thing is, like, I think this is twice now that Mark Millar has hit it out of the park with his works. Because yeah, this is another Mark Millar film, which it was another comic that it made into a film similar to Kick-Ass. But hopefully it won't follow the same route as Kick-Ass, that the sequel will be terrible. Hopefully that won't be the case. Fingers crossed. So yeah, Kingsman at number 5. Now to number 4, Mad Max: Fury Road. Wow. This movie, and it boggles my mind that this has gotten, like, what, 8 Oscar nominations already? Seriously, this thing doesn't win any. I don't know when the Oscars come out, and I don't really care, because it's a bunch of old codgers just sitting around looking at films for no goddamn reason. And the Oscars are it's kind of like having a confused grandpa figure out, what movie should I watch now? This is why I like it. That's how I compare the Oscars, to a confused grandpa, aka my grandpa. He's gonna kill me if he ever sees this. But no, Mad Max: Fury Road. George Miller, wow. After Thunderdome, which is the weirdest fucking thing, one of the weirdest films I've ever seen, comes out when an era when you have so many, reboots and all that, and you come in without Mel Gibson, you bring in one of the coolest female characters I've seen in years. Not only that, Tom Hardy is fantastic in here, and yeah, the practical effects are awesome. This film brought back, like, a lot of love for Mad Max. Like, after, before Mad Max, everyone was like, oh, Mad Max, whatever. After Fury Road, everyone's like, yeah, fuck yeah, Mad Max! And now it's become, like, a major hit. And that hasn't happened since Road Warrior, really. And that was way back in the 80s. And God bless you, George Miller, for, bringing Fury Road and showing that practical effects still have a lot of, say in this time and era when everything's like CGI and green screen and all that. And then you see something like this happen, and it's spectacular. It is. That's all I can say. It's spectacular. The action is great. This movie is, it shows and doesn't, it shows and tells at the same time. It tells through showing, mostly, honestly. And that's all I could say, other than, if you haven't seen Fury Road, then what the hell's wrong with you? Alright, so, number 3, Avengers, Age of Ultron. Yeah, this two other movies, which I'm pretty sure you guys know at this point, have probably beaten it out. You guys know it beaten out. But Avengers, Age of Ultron... Avengers, I know a lot of people, there are people out there who don't like the first Avengers film. I think it's like it's like basically Josh Whedon making a toy box out of the entire Marvel Universe, and it's fun like that. Age of Ultron really brought a lot of elements in here and showed so much in this film. The Hulk and Hulkbuster fight, you get James Spader's Ultron. Oh my god. Remember when I said in the previous part, where in the previous part where I said, one of the few problems with Ant-Man was that the villain was so bad, but we still had 3 other good Marvel villains last year to make it up, that being David Tennant's Kilgrave, Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin, and of course, James Spader's Ultron. Man, was he so good in here, and again, I'm really excited to see where the Marvel Universe is going to go with Civil War. It's probably my most anticipated movie of the year. I think I don't know if I'll ever do like my most anticipated films, because you guys probably know it's like everyone else. Of course, Civil War and Batman v Superman and Deadpool's off the list, obviously. But yeah, because I already just saw the movie. But yeah, of course, Star Wars Rogue One, 10 Cloverfield Lane, all that. But yeah, Avengers Age of Ultron. This film was probably my most... it was right behind Star Wars. Really, it was right behind Star Wars. And yeah, this really lived up to a lot of expectations. And it was a great follow-up to the Avengers, and it's a great leaping off point to see where the Marvel Universe is going to go next. I am very excited to see where it's going to go. So, yeah, but there was another film that came out of nowhere, and it went right into my top 5, and almost became my my number 1 had it not been for another film. And at number 2 is The Martian. Wow, Ridley Scott, I lost all faith in you at this point. I nearly lost all faith with Prometheus and all the other duds you did. And I understand Ridley Scott came in late in this project, but yeah, I'm glad. Also Drew Goddard. You're probably, I know, you did Cabin in the Woods, and it's just been skyrocketing from there. This movie is amazing. This has probably been my favorite Matt Damon role, and I've never really been a fan of the Jason Bourne movies. If you enjoy Jason Bourne, that's totally fine. I just could never get into the Bourne films, but I do like Matt Damon on a whole. And this has probably been my favorite role as him, is playing Mark Watney in The Martian. And there's just some great humor, there's great drama, great scenery. There's just some beautiful shots in this film. There's, I could go on and on about how spectacular this film is. And just, it's a good feel-good film. It's a really good feel-good film. Yeah, I know that sounds weird, but yeah. It just shows that humanity, what would happen if humanity got over their shit and worked together for a common goal. Yeah. And it also makes you wonder, why aren't we doing this now? Why isn't space travel? Why aren't we going to trying to colonize Mars now? Come on. Where are you at, NASA? Anyway, so I had no expectations for this film because I didn't really want to see it, but my sister did, and my dad and my sister and I went to go see it. And actually, I was the one who came out liking it the most, even though my sister, she liked it, but she was like, it was all right. My dad liked it, but he was like, why aren't we doing this now? We need to go out into space and shit. And I'm the one, I was the only one that was like, yeah, this is probably going to be my top 10 films. But there was one film that beat out all the others. One film that captured my imagination and made me believe in filmmaking and worlds beyond mine. That film was Fantastic Four. Yes, I know, Fantastic Four. It's a beautiful film. Probably one of the best superhero. Oh my God, I can't finish that. What do you think it is, guys? No, really, put your heads together. Think what it is. Did you guess Star Wars? Did you guess Force Awakens? Yeah, that's what it is. That's my number 1. What the fuck do you think? Failtastic Four. Fuck that shit. No, it's Star Wars Force Awakens. Yeah, it's most seriously. Star Wars The Force Awakens. This movie built up so much hype. This film lived up to all my expectations, and it's just like what I said about Fury Road, where you could do all these practical effects and still have one foot in the door to the future and one in the past. J.J. Abrams put a lot of love into this film. All the characters are great. You know, Oscar Isaac as Poe Dameron's awesome. I can't wait to see him as Apocalypse this year. You know, Daisy Ryder, or Daisy Ridley, is it Daisy Ridley? Daisy Ridley as Rey, fantastic. John Boyega as Finn, awesome. Adam Driver as Kylo Ren, spectacular. All of the new cast is amazing. This is a great Star Wars film. It really just revitalized what we needed in the fandom, in the Star Wars fandom. And from that film alone, I'm like, okay, Disney, I really want to see where you're going to go. And I cannot tell you guys how excited I am for Star Wars Rogue One. Even though, yeah, you'd think we'd get something by now. No, really, you'd think we'd get like a teaser or something, because by now, well, actually it was in March, but still, in the previous year, in 2013, we had a little 1-minute teaser of Star Wars, and then we had, that 2-minute teaser to Force Awakens a few months later in like March or April, and then we didn't get a full-on trailer until like 2 months before the film. So really, yeah, they're really they're hiding this more. They're hiding more of Rogue One than they are Force Awakens. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. Anyway, so yeah, of course that's my number one. But yeah, again, that's just my opinion. If you guys think a movie should have been on here that should have been higher or lower, that's totally fine. No ill will against you. I am, this is just my personal list. These are just how I enjoyed these films. And yeah, so you guys tell me, what were your top 10 films of 2015? Just comment below, let me know, and once again, hope you all enjoyed this list on a whole, and I will see you guys later. Man, this was, finally got that out of the way. Now to move on to other things.